Commander Jack Rayner had survived many dangerous missions, but nothing had prepared him for this. His small scout ship had taken heavy damage while flying near an unknown sector. Systems had failed, controls locked up. The last thing he saw, before crashing, was a wild green jungle covering the planet below. Then came fire and darkness. When he woke up, his head was bleeding, his ship was in pieces, and he was completely alone. Everything around him was alive, not just trees, but moving, watching vines, thick leaves that seemed to whisper. The air was wet, heavy, and filled with strange sounds, clicks, growls, and high-pitched calls that didn't sound natural. Jack tried his comm unit. "Command, this is Rayner. Emergency crash. Repeat, emergency crash." No reply. He looked around. There were no signs of rescue, no ships, no escape pod, just him, and a jungle that looked like it wanted to eat him alive. He gathered supplies from the wreckage. Food, a small pulse blade, and his data tablet. Then he walked. He didn't know where he was going, just that staying still wasn't an option. Every step felt like a trap. Vines brushed against his boots. Trees opened and closed silently like they were breathing. Once, he swore he saw a pair of glowing eyes in the fog, but when he turned, nothing was there. He lasted 3 days like that. By the 4th, his water was gone. By the 5th, he collapsed. When Jack opened his eyes, he thought he was dreaming. Warm, soft light glowed above him. He was no longer on the jungle floor. He was inside a small cave, the walls lined with glowing vines. The air smelled sweet and clean. And then he saw her, a figure kneeling beside him. She wasn't human. She had soft lavender-purple skin, long white hair that shimmered, and eyes that glowed like emeralds. Her features were delicate. Small nose, full lips, smooth cheeks, but there was something wild in her expression. Alien, yet beautiful. She was holding a leaf to his forehead, pressing it gently. A green glow came from the leaf, and the pain in his head faded. Jack blinked, trying to speak. The alien girl looked at him and raised a finger to her lips. "Shh, not yet. You rest." Her voice was soft. Her words were broken English, but clear enough. Jack tried to sit up. Who are you?" She tilted her head. "You call me Lixa." "Lixa," he whispered. "You saved me." She nodded once. "You fall. Sky break. Jungle take you, but I stop it." Jack frowned. The jungle was going to take me. Lixa looked serious. "This place, alive. It eats outsiders. It watched you. It tested you." Jack looked around the cave again. "Why did you help me?" Lixa didn't answer at first. She placed a fruit beside him, blue and glowing. "Eat. You weak." He picked it up. "Is it safe?" She smiled. "Only if I like you." He bit it carefully. Sweet, cool. His body felt stronger almost instantly. He looked back at her. "Where am I?" Lixa stood and walked to the edge of the cave. She pointed to the jungle outside. "You are in the heart of Jara." Jack followed her gaze. Trees swayed even without wind. Flowers opened as if watching them. "It's like it's alive." "It is," Lixa said. "It breathes, it remembers, and it judges." Jack leaned back against the glowing cave wall. His mind was spinning. An alien jungle that remembers. A beautiful alien woman who speaks to it like it's her friend? "Why do you help me?" he asked again. Lixa turned to him. Her green eyes shimmered. "Because I remember another like you," she said. "He crashed here too, a long time ago, but he was not kind. He tried to hurt the jungle. He died." Jack's face tightened. "There was another human?" Lixa nodded. "Yes, and the jungle still hates his kind." Jack stared at her. "So, why didn't it kill me?" She walked slowly toward him. Because I asked it not to. Jack felt his heart beat faster, not from fear, but from something else. She sat beside him, her eyes soft. But now you must choose. Choose what? To run. Or to learn. Learn what? Lixa's expression was calm, but firm. To survive here, you must become part of it. Outside the cave, the jungle whispered again something was coming, but for now Jack was safe and somehow he didn't want to leave. Not yet. Jack couldn't stop thinking about what she said. You're not the first human. That one sentence kept echoing in his head. He had fallen from the sky, nearly died, and been saved by a glowing alien girl who claimed to speak to the jungle. But now she said someone else, another human, had come before and didn't survive. Lixa moved through the jungle like wind, silent, graceful, fast. She didn't step on twigs. She didn't brush against leaves. Every movement was like a dance with the forest. Jack followed behind, slower, careful not to trip. His body still hurt from the crash, but it was his mind that felt heavier. Where are we going? He asked. To show you, Lixa replied. You must see him. Jack swallowed hard. The other human? She didn't answer. The jungle opened, in front of them like a living gate. The vines moved aside without being touched. Trees bent slightly, just enough for them to pass. The air smelled of wet earth and strange flowers. Creatures watched them from above, silent, glowing eyes, shifting in the leaves. Jack could feel it now. The jungle was alive, watching, thinking, and for some reason, it was letting him pass. For now. After almost an hour of walking, Lixa stopped near a large stone mound covered in thick moss and vines. She raised her hand and touched the surface. The vines peeled away, like obeying her. Beneath them was a metal door. Jack's breath caught in his chest. It was human-made, crusted, scratched, but clearly from Earth tech. He stepped forward. This is from our ships, he said. Lixa nodded. Old Crash. He came before you. He broke many things. The door creaked open. Inside was a dark room made of metal and stone. The jungle had already started to take it back, roots crawling up walls, plants growing through the cracks. But what caught Jack's eye was the skeleton. It lay on the floor in the far corner, still wearing a half-rotted flight suit, a helmet beside it, a name tag. Lane W. Haskins. Jack stared. I've heard that name, he whispered. Haskins was declared missing 12 years ago, lost in deep space. Lixa's voice was quiet. He didn't die in the crash, he survived. A long time. Jack turned to her. Then what happened? She looked away. He tried to control the jungle, burn it, cut it. He thought power was the answer. And the jungle killed him? Jack asked. No, Lixa said. He killed himself. Jack froze. What? Lixa walked deeper into the ruin. She pointed to the walls, strange carvings and writings, scratched in English and another language. He went mad. The jungle showed him things, his fears, his past. It listened, and it reflected. Jack read the words on the wall. It sees me. It judges me. It won't let me lie. He stepped back, his skin cold. He couldn't hide from it, Lixa said, and you cannot either. Jack turned to face her. Why are you showing me this? Because if you lie here, she said slowly, you die here. They left the ruin in silence. Jack's mind raced. That skeleton, that man, he had been just like Jack. Lost, alone, scared. But the jungle didn't kill him. He killed himself. Because he couldn't handle what the jungle showed him. Jack looked at Lixa as they walked. She didn't act like someone from a tribal world. She understood tech. She knew human names. She even spoke a language that wasn't hers. She moved with the jungle as if she was born from it. You knew him, didn't you? Jack asked. Lixa stopped walking. Her eyes stared ahead. Yes, Jack waited. He was kind at first, like you, but he changed. You cared for him? Jack asked quietly. She nodded. I tried to save him, like I saved you. Jack's chest felt heavy. I'm not him. She looked at him, her green eyes glowing softly. That's not my choice to make. The jungle will decide. They reached a clearing where the sun broke through the trees. A calm pool of water sparkled in the center. Strange birds flew overhead, silent and colorful. Jack sat on a fallen log. Lixa handed him a fruit. You still have time, she said. To do what? He asked. To learn, to listen, to belong. Jack looked at the jungle around him. I'm a soldier, Lixa. I don't belong in places like this. You belong where your heart is honest, she said. Not your boots. He took a deep breath. Then he asked, what happens if I fail? She didn't smile. You'll never leave this place. Jack stared at the water, and for the first time since the crash, he wasn't sure he wanted to. The jungle didn't sleep. Even at night, it whispered. Jack sat near a soft fire that Lixa had built using glowing vines and strange bark that burned without smoke. The flames flickered blue and green, casting strange colors over her face as she sat across from him. Her silver hair caught the light and her skin shimmered faintly in the dark. She was silent. So was he, because both of them knew something had changed. Jack had stayed with her for 5 days now. Every day she led him deeper into the jungle, not to hunt, not to escape, to learn. He learned to walk without sound, to breathe with the rhythm of the trees, to listen, not with his ears, but with his skin. Lixa said the jungle could hear his heartbeat, could feel his thoughts. If he brought fear, the forest would return it. At first he thought it was nonsense. Then the plants responded to him. When he grew calm, flowers opened. When he panicked, roots moved in his path. Once, while thinking of danger, a tree behind him twisted suddenly and dropped a sleeping bird from its branch. Lixa didn't smile. She said only one word. See? But the real test came on the 6th day. They were following an old river trail. The air was thick and wet, and buzzing creatures floated in the mist. Jack was starting to feel something strange in his chest, a pressure like eyes on him. He slowed down. Lixa did too. Then they heard it. Crack. A sound in the trees behind them. Then a low growl. Deep, rumbling, like thunder trapped in a throat. Jack raised his blade, heart racing. Lixa whispered, "Don't move." He froze. From the trees something stepped out, a creature unlike anything Jack had seen. 10 feet tall, with a body made of twisting bark, muscles of vines, and glowing yellow eyes. Its face had no mouth, just a smooth, moving mask of wood. It growled again. Jack took a step back. "Lixa, what is that?" She didn't blink. "Oh, forest guardian. It doesn't look friendly," he whispered. "It's not supposed to be." The beast stepped forward. Jack raised his weapon, but Lixa stopped him with her hand. "Don't attack. Don't run. Just feel." Jack's hand shook. The thing was watching him. Feel what? Peace. Jack closed his eyes. He breathed deep, slow. He thought of calm water, of the stars. He let go of his fear. When he opened his eyes again, the guardian was standing still. Then it bowed its head and walked away. Jack fell to his knees, gasping. What the hell was that? Lixa smiled for the first time. That was your test. Later, back at the camp, Jack couldn't stop thinking about it. The beast had come for him, not to attack but to judge, and somehow he had passed. What would have happened if I attacked it? He asked. Lixa answered. You would be part of the roots now. He chuckled nervously. You're not joking, are you? No. Jack leaned against a tree. Why does this place test people like that? Because it remembers what humans did, she said. It wants to know if you're still the same. That night, Jack had a strange dream. He was standing in the jungle alone. Trees surrounded him. But instead of Lixa, he saw his old commander. The man was pointing a gun at him, shouting orders. Jack felt cold, weak. Then vines wrapped around the commander dragged him away. When Jack turned, he saw Lixa, and she said one word. Choose. He woke up sweating. Lixa was sitting by the fire watching him. You dreamed, didn't you? He nodded. How did you know? The jungle shows you things when it begins to accept you. Jack looked down at his hands. Do you think it's really testing me? I know it is. He looked up at her. Am I passing? Lixa walked over, knelt beside him and touched his chest softly. For now. But far beyond the trees, something was coming. The sky flickered faintly above the jungle, an old beacon just barely pulsing. Lixa didn't see it yet, but Jack would soon have to decide. Was he here to be rescued? Or to stay? Jack stood at the edge of the glowing riverbank, his boots sinking slightly in the wet soil. He had just filled his canister with water when he saw it. A blinking light in the sky. It wasn't a star. It was a signal. Human-made. A slow, faint pulse. Then silence. And again a soft blink. Repeating. He recognized it instantly, a rescue beacon. He turned slowly, his heart pounding. He hadn't activated anything. Or at least, he didn't remember doing it. The jungle had no tech like that. This signal was from his own ship. Its distress module must have been triggered during the crash and was only now reaching orbit. Jack looked over his shoulder toward the camp where Lixa waited by the fire, preparing strange roots and sweet fruits for their evening meal. Her silver hair glowed in the firelight. Her smile was soft, calm. She had no idea. Jack swallowed hard. Should he tell her or stay quiet? Later that night, he sat beside Lixa, eyes on the fire but thoughts far away. She handed him a wooden bowl of soup made from glowing plants. Eat. You need strength. He nodded and took it, but didn't sip. She looked at him. Her eyes narrowed, slightly. You are heavy tonight, your thoughts. Jack forced a smile. Just tired. She stared at him for a moment longer, then nodded once. The jungle hears lies. Jack looked into her eyes. Did it hear that? I think it did. He walked away that night pretending to stretch his legs. But deep in his pocket, he had something he hadn't told Lixa about. A signal activator. A wrist-worn transmitter that could connect to the ship's emergency beacon. It had somehow survived the crash, half-burned and buried in sand. He'd found it the day before, and hidden it. And now, with one push of his thumb, it was on. The next morning, he returned to camp with guilt heavy on his face. But Lixa didn't speak. She only stared at the jungle, and the jungle stared back. That day, things began to change. The trees didn't sway gently like before. The vines twitched in strange patterns. Birds flew higher, avoiding the canopy. Even the wind felt angry. Lixa moved slowly, carefully. The jungle is unsettled, she said. Jack pretended not to know why. That evening, he sat beside her again. She was silent. He finally said it. I think someone heard my crash signal. Maybe a ship is coming. Lixa didn't blink. Did you call them? Jack looked down. I just want to go home. You are home, she said quietly. I mean, Earth. Earth forgot you, Jack's voice cracked. I didn't forget it. Lixa stood up. The jungle told me you lied. Jack stood too. I didn't lie about wanting to live. But you lied about choosing us. She walked into the trees. Jack followed. They came to a tall hill covered in vines. She brushed them aside. Underneath was a body, or what was left, of one, another alien, similar to Lixa but dead, wrapped in brown vines. He called for rescue, she said. He told the jungle he would protect it, but he brought others here. Jack stepped back. What happened? They came with fire. Machines, axes. She looked at him with pain in her eyes. I watched them burn half the forest. The jungle took him. The vines around her began to tremble. Jack felt his pulse rise. He took a step forward. Lixa, I'm not like him. But you did the same. I was scared. Alone. You don't understand what it feels like to lose everything. I lost more, she said. Jack looked into her eyes and finally told the truth. I called them. I didn't mean to hurt you, I just didn't know where I belonged. The jungle shook. A single vine reached out, wrapped around his leg, tight. Lixa didn't move. It's not me you have to convince. Jack closed his eyes. He didn't fight, he didn't panic, he let go and whispered, I'm sorry. The vine loosened, then slowly unwrapped and slid back into the earth. Lixa breathed out. You listened. Jack opened his eyes. And for the first time, he felt the jungle forgive him. But the signal was already sent. The ship was already on the way. The jungle was silent, not peaceful, not calm, silent. Jack had grown used to the sounds, the calls of flying beasts, the creaking vines, the heartbeat rhythm of trees breathing in the wind. But now, all of it was gone, and Lixa was staring at the sky. She knew. They stood at the edge of a wide clearing. Above them, clouds twisted unnaturally, like something massive was pushing them apart. A sharp beam of white light cut through the dark sky. Jack whispered, They're here. Lixa said nothing. Her hands curled into fists and her body stiffened. The green shimmer in her eyes dimmed, replaced by a cold, distant light. Jack had never seen her like this. You can still leave, she said, her voice flat. Jack didn't answer, because in truth he didn't know what he wanted anymore. The dropship pierced through the clouds, sleek, angular, gray, human-made. Its engines roared, scattering birds and breaking branches as it descended through the jungle canopy. It hovered above the clearing for a moment, scanning. Then it opened fire. Boom! Twin sonic blasts hit the trees near the edge of the jungle. They weren't meant to kill, but to clear. Trees split in half. Roots exploded. Glowing flowers turned black. Jack stepped forward, yelling, No, stop firing, there's no threat. The ship didn't hear him, or didn't care. Lixa turned away, her voice hollow. They always bring fire. She ran into the trees. Jack chased after her. Wait, they're here to rescue me. She didn't stop. They don't rescue. They conquer. Jack caught up and grabbed her arm. You don't know them. She spun around, eyes glowing with emotion. I knew the last one, and the one before him. Every time they land here, something dies. Jack's heart pounded. Then tell me what to do. Choose, she said. Them, or me. The trees around them twisted. The roots moved faster now. The jungle was in pain. Jack could feel it, its energy no longer gentle, but hot and shaking. The ship's engines grew louder. It was landing. Now, preparing to send boots on the ground. Jack looked back toward the smoke rising from the treetops. He saw his old life in that smoke. Earth, rank, command, escape. He looked at Lixa. He saw something else. Connection, truth. A place that had tested him and almost killed him, but also let him grow. I need to go to them, Jack said. But I won't leave you. Lixa narrowed her eyes. What are you planning? He reached into his pocket and pulled out the signal activator, then crushed it under his boot. No, more signals. Lixa's breath caught. You'd stay? No, he said. I'll talk to them, stop them. If they listen, good. If they don't. He looked at the jungle around him, then back at her. Then I'll fight. Minutes later, Jack stepped into the open clearing. Soldiers had landed. 3 of them. Helmets on, blasters ready, scanning, for signs of life. One aimed his rifle at Jack. Identify yourself. Jack raised both hands. Commander Jack Rayner, confirmed crash survivor. No hostiles here. Another soldier lowered his weapon slightly. We read your signal. You weren't supposed to be on this planet. I wasn't, Jack said. But I survived. I adapted. And now I'm asking you to stand down." The first soldier stepped forward. "Our orders are to secure the area and cleanse unknown biologicals." Jack's eyes narrowed. "Those biologicals saved my life." Behind the trees, Lixa watched. So did the jungle. Roots crept closer. "I'm warning you," Jack said. "If you touch a single tree here, if you hurt anything, this place will fight back." The soldier laughed. "You sound like one of them." Jack looked toward the tree line, then said, "Maybe I am." Crack. A massive root burst from the ground behind the soldiers, wrapping around one of them and dragging him into the trees. The other two turned and fired blindly, blasts tearing through. "Branches, hold your fire," Jack shouted. But it was too late. The jungle had decided. They were invaders, and the fire was only beginning. The jungle was awake, not just moving, but alive with fury. Trees swayed violently without wind. Roots split the earth like waves crashing on a shore. The birds had vanished. The vines turned dark. Even the glowing plants, once warm and soft, now flickered like warning lights, and deep within it all, something even older had begun to stir. Jack stood frozen in the clearing. 2 soldiers had already been taken. One vanished into the trees, never heard again. The other was wrapped in vines so tight that his weapon cracked in half before he could pull the trigger. The last soldier turned to Jack, face pale, voice shaking. "What is this place?" Jack didn't answer, because now he finally understood. This wasn't just a jungle. It was a being, and they had wounded it. Lixa appeared behind him, silent as ever. "The jungle is angry," she said, "and when it is angry, it remembers." Jack turned toward her. "Then help me stop it." She looked at him with sad eyes. "I can't. Not anymore." "Why?" "Because I'm part of it." The soldier raised his rifle, shaking. "What is she?" Jack stood between him and Lixa. "Lower your weapon. She's not human. She saved me. She's controlling the plants." "No," Jack said softly. "She's connected to them." He looked at Lixa. "Aren't you?" She stepped forward slowly, her body glowing faintly. "I was born from the heart root. My people lived here long ago. When the others left, we stayed. We became one with it." Jack stepped closer. "You never told me. Would you have trusted me if I did?" Jack didn't answer. Because truthfully, maybe he wouldn't have. Suddenly the ground cracked open behind them. A deep chasm. Roots coiled inside like serpents. Something massive moved in the shadows. Slow. Groaning. Ancient. The last soldier screamed and ran. He didn't get far. The earth swallowed him. Silence followed. Jack turned to Lixa. "What is that?" She took a deep breath. "That is the heart root, the mind beneath the forest. It sees all, remembers all, and now it is waking." Jack's knees felt weak. "You mean we weren't just walking on the jungle? We were walking inside it." She nodded. "You stepped on its skin, slept on its spine. Now it wants to know why it should let you live." They walked to the edge of the chasm. Jack looked down. He saw glowing tendrils pulsing with green-blue light, like neurons, like thought. The heart root was thinking, reacting, judging. A voice echoed, not in his ears but in his mind. "You brought fire. You brought fear. What do you bring now?" Jack stepped back. Lixa placed a hand on his chest. "Speak to it, with truth." Jack closed his eyes. "I brought fear. I brought doubt. But now, I bring choice." "Choice?" "I could leave," Jack whispered. "But I won't. I could let others burn this place, but I won't." He opened his eyes. "I choose this. I choose you." Silence. Then a slow hum filled the air. The vines stopped twitching. The trees began to calm. The air grew still again. The ground under Jack's feet glowed gently. The heart root had accepted him. Lixa stepped beside him. It believes you. He turned to her. Then what happens now? She looked toward the sky. There's one ship left. Still waiting above the jungle. They're watching, waiting to strike. Jack nodded. Then we end it. Not with guns, but with something stronger. They walked to the ruins of the old human camp. Jack activated a terminal from the wreckage. A communications beacon still flickered weakly. He sent a message up to orbit. This planet is under protection. It's alive. It's intelligent. And it has a voice. If you fire on it, you fire on all of us. He paused, then added, and if you want to speak to it, you'll have to go through me. No reply came for a long time. Then finally, signal disconnected. The ship had left. They wouldn't risk it. Not anymore. Jack fell to his knees, exhausted. The jungle around him began to breathe again. Birds returned to the trees. Flowers opened once more. The fire was gone, and something new had taken root. The jungle was peaceful again, not quiet, but alive in a gentler way. The vines swayed slowly with the wind. Birds sang softly from high branches. Light filtered through the trees like gold dust, dancing across leaves and water. Jack sat on the shoe, hill above the camp watching the sky. The last human ship was gone. No message, no warning, just gone. He had made his choice, and they had made theirs. Behind him, Lixa approached, her steps as light as breath. She stood beside him in silence for a while, then asked softly, "Do you regret it?" Jack didn't answer right away. He stared at the sky, then looked down at his hands. "No," she sat beside him. "Even though you'll never see Earth again?" "I was just surviving there," he said. "But here, I'm alive." Lixa looked at him, her eyes warm. "You passed the test," Jack smiled. "I thought the jungle tested me." "It did," she said. "But so did I." He turned to her. "Did I pass your test too?" She didn't speak. She leaned forward and gently pressed her forehead to his. Their connection said more than words ever could. In the weeks that followed, Jack became something more than human. He learned to feel the roots beneath his feet, to sense danger before it arrived, to guide water to thirsty plants without tools. He stopped using his watch. He stopped counting days. He didn't need time anymore, because he had purpose. Lixa taught him about the old ways, about her people, who had once lived in great tree villages above the canopy, who had merged with the jungle not with machines but through shared memory, breath, and spirit. She taught him the old language, the one spoken without sound, and he taught her stories of Earth, not just wars and technology, but oceans, mountains, snow. She had never seen snow. One night, she said, "Describe it again." Jack smiled. "It's like falling stars, but soft. It touches you and disappears." She closed her eyes. "I want to see it someday." Jack said, "Maybe I'll build it here." She laughed. "Impossible," he grinned. "I like impossible." One morning, Jack woke up to find Lixa sitting at the edge of a pond, her toes in the glowing water. She was holding something small, delicate. A seed. "The jungle gave it to me," she said. "It's new. It never existed before." Jack knelt beside her. "What will it grow into?" She looked at him. "I don't know." "We'll find out." They planted the seed together, not far from the spot where he had first seen her, half covered in vines, mysterious and glowing. When he thought she might be a dream, now she was his reality, and the jungle was home. Epilogue years later. Travelers speak of a green world on the edge of the galaxy, a world no scanner can map, a jungle no machine can tame. They say it breathes, and they say two figures walk among the roots. A glowing alien girl with eyes, like emerald fire, and a human who chose to stay, not for science, not for glory, but for love. Sometimes the place we're meant to be isn't where we came from, It's where someone finally sees us and stays.